fine? Okay.
Yes, Bhagini.
Okay. Thank you. ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्योजात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So we have been seeing the second Mundaka and the second Khanda. And this entire Khanda or this entire section, Khanda means this section, this entire section is talking about the Mahavakya vichara. First it talked about, for the first few mantras, it talked about what is that Brahman by knowing which everything is known. Now, just by knowing that Brahman as there is something called Brahman, is that sufficient? That's what the Upanishads say. A paroksha jnanam or an indirect knowledge that there is something called as Brahman, and this Brahman is all pervading. This Brahman is Jyotisham Jyotihi. This Brahman is the Sarva Adhishtanam. This Brahman is the Jagat Karanam. But still my samsara remains. I know everything about Brahman, whatever are the Swarupa Lakshanas and Tatastha Lakshanas of Brahman are known to me. But how does it make a difference to me? It becomes another object of my knowledge. So, what is it that I have to know? That Brahman which is talked about in the Upanishads as the Tat Padartha, that is none other than I, this consciousness. This is what is called as the Mahavakya vichara. It's only when I understand that I, this Sakshi Chaitanya consciousness or Atma, this Chaitanya Rupi Atma, which is the Sakshi or the witness of everything that it is seeing outside in this Jagat, that which witnesses this entire body mind sense complex, that which is behind the functioning of this entire body mind sense complex, that Atma, that consciousness which is as though related to this individual body mind sense complex, is nothing but that Brahman. And when I understand this, which is called as the Mahavakya vichara, this Mahavakya vichara clearly understanding that what I experience all the time as ahamasmi iti, That consciousness is nothing but the Jagat Karanam Brahma. I am nothing but the Sarvagata Brahman. I am nothing but that Jyotisham Jyotihi. I am that consciousness behind every living being. I am that existence behind every object in this Jagat. When I understand this, my limitations about myself are gone. I no longer feel that I am the limited being. I don't feel that I'm as limited as the body, mind, sense complex. I don't feel that limitation that, oh, I am one individual separate from the others. I'm different from the Jagat. I'm different from Ishvara. I'm all the time at the risk of being at the mercy of the Jagat and Ishvara. This limitation is not there. Why? Because I find that that consciousness, is nothing but that Brahman which the Upanishads are talking about in the form of the Tat Padartha. The Tvam Padartha, that which is the consciousness or that which is the very content of this body mind sense complex, which is called as the Tvam Padartha by the Upanishads, is not different from that Brahman which the Upanishads are talking about. And we saw that after the very first two or three mantras, we saw that ultimately all these next few mantras are talking about the Mahavakya Vichara. We saw that Mahavakya Vichara, and whatever we took up last time, the seventh verse and the eighth verse, which we completed in the last session, is nothing but the Mahavakya Vichara at its highest teaching. And we saw that Yaha Sarvajnyaha Sarvavid Yasyaisha Mahima Bhuvi Divye Brahmapure Yeshaha Vyomni Atma Pratishtitaha. That Brahman which is Sarvajna and Sarvavid. That Brahman which is the all knowing consciousness. That which is the very Mahima that we see, the exalted things that we see in this entire Jagat. All the jagats, that is all the lokas which are woven into this, that particular Sarvajna Sarvavid Brahman, where is it available? It's available everywhere, but I don't have to look for it anywhere, because this is nothing but that consciousness, Divye Brahmapure Heshaha, in this exalted Divye Brahmapure, in the Hridaya Guha, in the mind, in the Buddhi, in the Antakarana, this Brahman is available for my experience as Ahamasmi iti. That Brahma experience, Ahamasmi iti, that experience which I am all the time having, is nothing but this Atma. Yesha Vyomni Atma Pratishtitaha. This Brahman is available, it is Upalabdha in every Jiva's Hridaya Guha. Ishvarah Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. That's what Lord Krishna said in the 18th chapter, almost at the end of the teaching of the entire Gita. And this is what? It is that Brahman which is this Atma. Tat Brahman, Yaha Atma, this is this Atma. And then what is it he said? That Brahman which is present as the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma is that which is responsible for the functioning of the entire individual's body, mind, sense complex. And in the eighth verse, it was said, Manomaya Prana Sharira Neta. This consciousness, which is available within this particular Hridaya Guha, has the very mind as its upadhi. Consciousness expresses it can exist by itself. Existence, consciousness, or Brahman, Atma can exist by itself. Sve mahimni tishtati. But it can manifest only through an upadhi. It cannot manifest through anything else. It can manifest through some upadhi. And for Brahman, the entire jagat of objects is the upadhi. Whereas for this individual consciousness, Atma, the body mind sense complex, especially the mind, The antakaranam is the upadhi. Here, manomaya means that which has got this antakaranam or the buddhi or the mind as the upadhi. Prana sharira neta, that which takes away the prana, that because of which the sukshma sharira is capable of functioning when it is in this body, that because of which this sukshma sharira is able to travel once this body has fallen, and that because of which the sukshma sharira is capable of embodying itself into another body. Therefore it is prana sharira neta pratishtitah anne hridayam sannidhaya, that Brahman as Atma hridaye sannidhaya pratishtati, it is available in my own Hridaya Guha, where Anne, Annamaya Koshe, in this anatomical body, in this anatomical heart. There are no two hearts. There are some people who say there's a spiritual heart on the right side, and there's no two hearts. Our scriptures talk about one and the only heart which is beating, keeping us alive. In that heart, in that space of the heart, Vyomni, what is there? Pratishtati, Sannidhaya, Pratishtati, Anne Hridayam, Tat Vijnanena, knowing that, understanding that as what? This Atman is nothing but that Brahman, understanding that, Paripashyanti Dhiraha, very clearly they see who? Dhiraha. The mumukshus who are exposed to the Shastra, Guru Mukhena Shastra Adhyayanam, those who have done, and they have very clearly understood the Mahavakya Vichara which is talked about by the Guru. What do they experience, or what is the phalam of this knowledge? Ananda Rupam Amritam Yad Vibhati, this Ananda Swarupa Atma, the Sukha Swarupa Atma, Vibhati, Ananda Rupa Amritam, that immortal Atma. What is the meaning of immortal? That which was never born, that which is never going to die, that which is never going to undergo any vikaras, Amritam Yad Vibhati. They are able to paripashyanti, they are able to very clearly see. What is the meaning of see? See does not mean that you see Brahman standing in front of you and appearing in front of you as a flash of light or as something. No. Paripashyanti means I understand. I see it very clearly. I understand it very clearly. That is what is called as paripashyanti dhiraha, mumukshavaha. Mumukshavaha, that is what is called as samyak darshanam. Samyak darshanena anandam amritam rupam atmanam abhedataya pashyanti. That is from Brahman abhedataya pashyanti. I am that Brahman, it is they understand. And what is the phalam of this knowledge? That is what is given here in the next few verses till the end of this section. So, one of the most important verses of Mundakopanishad is the next verse, which is the mantra number 9. Mantra number 9 is what is giving the absolute, the phalam. What is it that one gets? The phalam is not something which comes and goes. Phalam is the nitya phalam of moksha. Now, what is that phalam which is being talked about? Let's read the mantra. One of the most beautiful mantras. One of the mantras which can give that confidence in a mumukshu that my journey is not going to be a waste. This is the journey which is going to lead me to my goal. What is my goal? That I am completely free from all the limitations that I am feeling now. I am free from the samsara which I am struggling with. And that is going to be the ultimate freedom called as moksha. And that is the phalam of this knowledge. And that is what is going to be talked about in this ninth verse. One of the most famous, one of the most often cited mantras. Bhagavan Shankara takes this mantra as, in most of his commentaries as to depict the phalam, So this is something which we should really remember all the time. Bhidyate hridaya granthihi छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे. So what does this mean? Tasmin drishte paravare. Last two words, three words. Once a person, a mumukshu, by the understanding of Mahavakya, understands the Karana Brahman and Karya Brahman. Paravare means what? Para and Avara. Para means what? That highest, that existence, consciousness, Brahman, Karanam. Avaram means what? The Karyam, the entire Jagat, including this body, mind, sense complex. How does he understand? It is the very Karanam Brahman, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, which is manifesting itself as the Karyam. The entire Jagat is nothing but Karana Brahman. This body, mind, sense complex, which belongs to the Jagat, is nothing but the manifestation in Brahman. It is the same consciousness, the same Brahman manifesting itself in the form of the individual body, mind, sense complex, as well as the entire Jagat of all the sentient and insentient objects. And when I understand this, drishte means what? When I inquire and understand this. See, we commonly use a term when I understand something, when somebody is telling me, what do I say? I see, I say, I see, I see. What is the meaning of I see? I understand what you are saying. I see what you are understanding means I understand what you are saying. Intellectually also I understand, and once it is directly understood, that is, it is aparokshataya understood, when we clearly understood, not as an object, Brahman not as another object in the universe, but as the very me, the Atma. Tasmin drishte paravare. Drishte paravare. Drishte sati means once I clearly see this Paravaram Brahma, Karana Karyam Brahma, what happens here? Bhidyate Hridaya Grantihi. The knot of the heart, which has been a tight knot of the heart, which has been getting rusted and tightened over, millions of lives. This whole Granthi, this knot completely dissolves. Now, to have a knot, to tie a knot, you require some threads, isn't it? So here it is said that the Hridaya Granthi is a Granthi or knot. Knot means K-N-O-T, knot. This knot, which is tied by three threads. Three threads. Avidya, Kama, Karma, Rupi, Granthi. What is avidya here? I do not know who I am. Mula avidya is the first granthi. Because of this Mula avidya, what happens? I have a feeling of incompleteness, apurnata. Therefore, there is a kama to fulfill myself. So, kama arises, a desire to fulfill myself through the objects of the world, kama. And to fulfill that desire, what do? I do various karmas. Laukika karma, Vaidika karma, all kinds of karma to fulfill something. Therefore, this avidya, kama, karma, granthi or the knot, where is it there? Where is it situated? It is situated in the buddhi, in the antakaranam, in the heart. Where else? It cannot be in the Karana Shariram. It cannot be in the Sthula Shariram. All our knots are in our minds. All our problems are in our minds. That I feel incomplete, that I feel insufficient, apurnatvam is in my mind. That I am limited is in my mind. It's not the body which feels that. I am unhappy is in my mind. I want more is in my mind. I didn't get what I deserved. It's in my mind. Somebody else is getting more because and he doesn't deserve it. That's also in my mind. Therefore, where is this Hridaya Granthi? Where is this Granthi? It is in my heart or in my mind. Therefore, it is called Hridaya Granthi, the knot of the heart. Here, the heart means the buddhi. In my antakaranam and buddhi, this strong knot of ignorance, incompleteness, desire, and karma is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, life by life, life after life, life after life. In each life, also, it is getting more and more and more strong. So, this is a strongly tied granthi, and you must remember that the longer there is the knot, it takes more effort to unknot it. Hasn't it? Haven't we seen in our own houses? We have tied a knot for something. The older the knot is, the rusted the knot, more rusted the knot is, more difficult for it to remove. So here it is said, any amount of karma and upasana is not going to remove this knot. Then what is going to remove this knot? This vidya, Brahma vidya, Atma vidya, this knowledge that Aham Brahmasmi iti Mahavakya understanding. Paripashyanti dhiraha, which we saw in the previous verse. That Samyak Darshanam alone removes or loosens the knots of the heart. So, Bhidyate Hridaya Granthi. Bhidyate means what? The knot is completely removed or it gets cut. It gets loosened. I don't have to do anything about it. This very knowledge is sufficient to remove that particular knot or loosen that particular knot. Bhidyate Hridaya Grantihi. Okay. Bhidyate Hridaya Grantihi means what? That knot of ignorance, karma, and karma is resolved once and for all. There is no ignorance, so there is no karma, there is no karma, desire for karma. So it is simply resolved, absolutely resolved. What happens then? Chidyante sarva samshayaha. There is no more doubt. Am I the body? Am I the mind? Is the world real? Is this body mind sense complex real? Am I the person who is suffering? Is the world giving me suffering? No doubts of that type anymore. Absolutely no. Chidyante sarva samshaya. I have no doubt. Once avidya or ignorance is cleared, where are the doubts? The doubts happen because of ignorance. Even partial ignorance is enough to give me doubts. So the doubts also are cleared off. Chidyante sarva samshayaha. Kshiyante cha asya karmani. All my sanchita karmas are burnt off. Remember Bhagavad Gita? Jnanat. What happens? Sarvani karmani bhasmasat kurute he Arjuna. This jnanam burns away all the sanchita karmas. Why? Because it is the ignorance of the self which is making me accumulate karma called as sanchita karma. It is accumulating karma in me because of what? I am apurna. I have got the apurnatvam, and therefore I have to desire for more. I have to work for more. All these things are accumulating karma in me of millions of lives before. Sanchita karmas. All that mute of karmas, all that, bag of karmas is behind me, which is a reason for my being born again and again and again. Because karmas, we have to work it out only. No karma phala will disappear. When you say sanchita karma, it means sanchita karma phalas. No karma phala will disappear. It will wait for millions and millions of creations, but you will have to sometime or the other work out that karma. Bhoga deva kshiyate. All these karmas, only bhoga deva, or by this knowledge. Either you go through that particular karma and finish it, but do we finish and keep quiet? we accumulate more karma. We add more karma to the sanchita karma. We work out a few karmas here which have come as the prarabdha. A portion of the sanchita karmas which have appeared as prarabdha, we work them out in this particular life. Then what happens? Then some more karma we do. Some more karma is accumulated, and then we have to come back. The sanchita karmas, weight goes on increasing. But then once this knowledge comes, what happens? Kshiyante cha asya karmani. All the sanchita karmas are gone. Prarabdha karmas will have to be worked out because they have already started because of the way, the body which has come because of the prarabdha karmas. The prarabdha karmas have already started, and therefore we have to wait for this prarabdha karma to fulfill itself, to work out itself. So the prarabdha karma will be there, the body will be there till the prarabdha karmas are worked out. Agami karma does not accrue. Why? Because I have understood that I am the akarta abhokta atma. When I have understood that I am akarta, I am not the doer, I the atma am not the doer, then all those karma phalas standing in my account are completely gone. Kshiyante cha asya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. In that person, this person who has very clearly understood the Karana Brahman as the only thing that is there, and the Karya Brahman is nothing but the Karana Brahman with multiple names and forms. And that Brahman is nothing other than me, Manomaya Prana Sharira Neta. I have understood this. All my karmas are burnt away. Kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. Para and avaram Brahma. Karana karya Brahmani. Brahma, when I see, I have lost or I have burnt away all my accumulated karma phalas. And what is this? This is moksha. So there is no karma standing in my account for a new body to come. No agami karmas have accumulated for the fodder for the new body. Prarabdha karmas, this body is working out during its lifetime and the body is gone and merged with the pancha bhutas. The Sukshma Sharira, because there is no question of traveling for this Sukshma Sharira because no karmas are there to propel it. It also gets absorbed or resolved in its respective Sukshma Bhutas. Who is there to come back? There is nobody to come back. Therefore, Tasmin Drishte Paravare Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. This is the phalam, this is nothing but moksha. So this is the phalam of understanding this particular knowledge. So this is the phalam which has been mentioned now. Now let us go to the next verse, the 10th verse. Let us go to the 10th verse now. The 10th verse says, now this Brahman has been shown to be the very Swarupa of this Atman in this mantra. This Brahman is nothing but that Atman, Atmaswarupa eva Brahmaswarupa. And then again, because the Upanishad, out of compassion, it has already told me, Manomaya Prana Sharira Neta iti, in the 7th and 8th verses, it has already told me, you are that Brahman and you are there available for perception in this particular body, mind, sense complex. It has already been shown very clearly. But then here again, the Upanishad is going to talk about that, Brahman is not an object. It is me, the very subject. It is that consciousness behind the mind. It is that consciousness behind all the sense organs. It is that consciousness behind this entire body. And this Brahman is very much available in me, the Hridaya Guha itself. That is what is going to be told about here. It is nothing but the Drik Swarupa Atma. It is the very consciousness behind the seer, listener, talker, smeller, feeler. And where is this found? Again, the Upanishad is repeating what was told in the 7th and 8th verses out of merely a compassion for us so that it repeats. It has to be. This is a very subtle knowledge. We are not used to this knowledge at all. We are not exposed to this knowledge. And our minds are exposed to the gross knowledge of the world outside, and our minds are gross. And therefore, the Upanishad has to keep talking about it again and again and again so that, we see it, listen to it, think over it, contemplate over it again and again. If we have not understood in these verses, you may ask why, after giving the phalam of this jnanam, why is the Upanishad talking about that same Brahman to be known as the very Swarupa of oneself? It's already been told. Yes, it's already been told. But the Upanishad Guru feels that it is necessary to repeat it in a different way because of the very subtlety and the difficulty in understanding this subject matter. So let's read the 10th verse. Hiranmaye pare koshe virajam brahmanishkalam तच्छुभ्रं ज्योतिषां ज्योतिः तद्यद् आत्मविदो viduhu. So what is said here is, those people who know this Brahman as the very Jagat Karanam Brahman, as the Sarvagatam Brahman, as the Nitya Brahman, as the Nirvikari Brahman, Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. Where is it available? Hiranmaye Pare Koshe. It is available in this bright kosha called as the Vijnanamaya Kosha. We have Annamaya Kosha, which is, not, it does not understand anything. It cannot cognize anything. Pranamaya Kosha, it is a subtle body, but it cannot cognize anything. Manomaya Vijnanamaya Koshas, what are called as the Anthakarana, are the subtlest parts of the Sukshma Sharira where cognition can take place. So knowledge can take place. That is why this intellect or the Vijnanamaya Kosha is called as that bright Hiranmaye Pare Koshe. Pare Koshe. Pare means what? In that particular exalted, in that highly subtle buddhi, in the intellect, Hiranmaye Pare Koshe, Vijnanamaya Koshe, Virajam Brahmanishkalam. This Brahman, which is Virajam. What is Virajam? Free from any impurities. Nishkalam, that which is Niravayava, that which does not have any kalas, that which does not have any ups and downs, that which does not have any vikaras. Niravayavi, Nirvikari Brahman is called as the Nishkalam Brahma, the partless Brahman. And what is this Brahman available in my Buddhi Kosha or in my Vijnanamaya Kosha? Tat Shubhram. Shubhram here means Asangam, because already Virajam has come, which is again means Shubhram. Tat Shubhram. That Atman, that Brahman is Shubhram means what? Asangam Brahma. That which does not have a lepa from anything. Nothing of the body, mind, sense complex can sully it. No dirt from the world, nothing can actually, make it dirty. Shubhram, ever clean. It is this Atman, Asanga Atma. This Shubhram Jyotisham Jyotihi. It is that light of consciousness which is absolutely pure, cannot be sullied by anything else, cannot be made impure by anything else. Even though it is in absolute close contact with Anatma, the Anatma's dirt or Anatma's doshas cannot affect this Atman. Therefore, it is what? It is something which is Shubhram, means Asanga Atma. This Atma is in and through this body mind sense complex. But the problems of the Sthula Sharira do not affect the Atman. The problems of the Sukshma Sharira do not affect the problem. The ignorance of the Karana Sharira does not affect the Atman. It ever remains Shubhram Asangam Tad Jyotisham Jyotihi. It is the light of all lights. It is the light of consciousness. See, the light is shining on everything, isn't it? Surya's light, sun's light is shining on the dirtiest things on the earth, the purest and good things on the earth also. But the good things, the goodness of the good things do not affect the sunlight. The dirtiness of the dirty things do not affect the sunlight. We have seen it in Manisha Panchakam, if you remember. Whether the sun shines on a Chandalavati or whether it shines on the Ganga, the pure Ganga river, sunlight is not affected. We saw that. Kim Gangambudi, is Gangambudi affected by this sunlight? I mean, does it affect the purity of the sunlight or make it more pure? Or a Chandalavati's dirty water affect the sunlight? It doesn't. Does the space get affected by the dirtiness of a slum? No. Does the space get more purified by it being present in a garden full of fragrant flowers and clean air? Does it get polluted? Does Atma get polluted? Does Brahman get polluted by these things? No, it doesn't. So what does it mean? It is that Shubram. It is Nirlepa, Nirlipta. At the same time, it is Asanga. Whether it's good or bad, nothing affects it like space, like the light, it does not affect. And what is it? Jyotisham Jyotihi. It is the light of consciousness which lights everything else. We'll see that in the next verse, we'll see that. It is Jyotisham Jyotihi, that which is the light of all lights, that because of which all the Laukika lights are shining, that because of which the sun is shining. It is the light of consciousness behind the moonlight. It is the light of consciousness which manifests as the light in the stars, in the Agni, in the Vidyut. That's what we're going to see in the next verse. So, Jyotisham Jyotihi Tad Yat Atmavido Viduhu. This is how the Atmavidas know this Brahman. Atmavidas means those who have realized, those who have understood the Mahavakya. They see this Brahman as nothing but that light of consciousness which is here, available in me, in this Hridaya Guha, which is all the time there, that which is obtained in the purest and the subtlest kosha of my Vijnanamaya kosha. Therefore, what is the meaning of this verse? You don't have to look for that Brahman anywhere. Whatever you see is nothing but Brahman. Whatever I observe in the world is nothing but Brahman with a certain name and form. The name and form are mithya, but the adhishtanam of that name and form is Satya. I don't have to look for this Atma anywhere. That which is constantly pulsating in me as ahamasmi, all the time spurantam, all the time which is pulsating in me as I know I am, that is nothing but this light of consciousness. It lights itself, it reveals itself and reveals everything else. When I say I know, what do I know? I say I know you. I know this laptop. I know this book. I know this thing. I know that thing. What is it that knows? It is that light of consciousness because of which everything is known. When I say I see the sunlight, I know the sunlight, what is it that knows the sunlight? It is the light of consciousness. When I say I know the moonlight, what is it that knows the moonlight? Light of consciousness. When I say twinkle, twinkle, little star, and the star twinkling, that twinkling light of the star, who is that who is able to see that? I, this consciousness. Therefore, I am the Jyotisham Jyotihi Tad Yad Atmano Viduhu. And that is what a Atma Vidu or the knower of Atma understands. That means he does not see any difference between Atman and Brahman. All the objects, whatever we see, whatever we are aware of, is nothing but made available to us by this light of consciousness. And that is what is told in the next mantra, 11th mantra, which we saw where in Kathopanishad also we saw. And this mantra is always chanted when the arati is done in the dark garbhagudi of any deity. When the archaka takes a quarter piece of a this camphor and lights one arti and shows that where we see the face of the Lord, the face of the murti there, this is chanted. Why is it chanted? What we see, your face, that form, ultimately, what is it that is capable of knowing you? It is this light of consciousness, not this small 8 annas or 420 paisa with a camphor that to breaking it into pieces. I light it for one aarti. That is not the thing. That is what is going to be talked about. Again, a very famous mantra, which is seen in this Upanishad, which we have already studied in the Kathopanishad. So let's read it. न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तम् अनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति. If you have made any notes of Kathopanishad, you will find it there. If not notes, you can go back to on our website, you can go back to the Kathopanishad and you can find it there. Now, what is the meaning of this? Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Sunlight cannot reveal this Atma. Na chandra tarakam. The moonlight or the starlight cannot light up this Atma. All these are Laukika lights. What is it that makes our eyes see something in the presence of Laukika lights? There are 5 sources of lights in this Jagat which allow our eyes to pick up some object. But what is that light of consciousness behind, because of which the eyes are able to pick up these objects which are shown by this Chandra Tarakam or whatever? Daytime, we have the Surya Prakasha. Night time, we have the Chandra Prakasha or Tara Prakasha. When it is having a vidyut, when it is bright, when you are having this lightning, we are able to see so many things. In a dark night, in a monsoon night, we may not be able to see anything. But when there is a lightning, suddenly there is a flash where we are able to see. If there is no sunlight, there is no moonlight, no starlight, there is nothing else. We have our humble Agni, which can light up a lamp and see things. But are any of these 5 sources of Laukika lights able to light up this Atma? No. It's the other way around. It is the light of consciousness or Atma Jyotisham Jyotihi that lights up all these lights. I can say sunlight is there, sun has risen and the light is coming because of this consciousness, the light of consciousness. I can say there is beautiful, cool moonlight, the moon rays I am able to appreciate because of this light of consciousness. So, none of the sources of the Laukika lights can light up this consciousness. On the other hand, I, the Atma, I reveal myself and I light up all these sources of light. It is I, this Atma, who is capable of saying, this is sunlight, this is moonlight, this is starlight, this is the light of the fire, this is the light of Vidyut, or this is the light of lightning. Oh, there is lightning. Who says that? It is that eyes which have perceived this light backed by this consciousness. Chakshushaha chakshuhu. The eye of the eye, which is the consciousness, is able to see all these lights. So na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti na ima vidyutaha bhanti kuthoyam agnihi. What about this humble fire, camphor fire? How can it light you up? Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Hey consciousness, hey Brahman, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Everything shines after you. You shine. You means what? I shine and everything shines after me. Tameva bhantam. That means what? When you, O Brahman, you shine as a light of consciousness in me, the Jyotisham Jyotihi, which is found in the Hiranyamaye Pare Koshe, as we see, then Anubhati Sarvam. Everything shines after that light of consciousness. It is a Jyotisham Jyotihi which shines and everything shines after it. And where is this Jyotisham Jyoti? It is me, myself. I, this consciousness, is the Jyotisham Jyotihi. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. When the light of consciousness reveals itself, after it, everything else is revealed. After that, everything else is revealed. Even darkness is revealed by this consciousness. When I say there is no light in this room, it is a light of consciousness which reveals the darkness there. When I say there is light in this room, it is this light of consciousness reveals the light there. So, what is it that reveals the absence of light and the presence of light of all Solavtika sources? I, this consciousness, which is the light of consciousness, which is Jyotisham Jyotihi, which is ever revealing itself and at the same time revealing everything else. So, this I'm not going too much into detail because we have already seen this in the Kathopanishad. It just only means that. Now let us go to the last verse. I think it is the last verse, the 12th verse. Yeah, the 12th verse is the last verse of this most important chapter where it says that once I have seen myself as this Brahman, then Brahman is everywhere. There's not a single place where there is no consciousness present. Existence, the easiness, the consciousness, the knowingness of everything is nothing but this Brahman. The insentient objects may not manifest the consciousness, but they manifest the Sat or the Satta. Okay? And I, the living being, all the other living beings manifest the Sat and the Chit, existence and consciousness, both which are nothing but one and the same. They manifest this Sat Chit of Atma or Brahman. Therefore, what is there here? This whole universe is nothing but Brahman. Where is this Brahman? Where is it not? If I ask Brahman, you say everywhere I cannot see it. Yes, you cannot see it directly as an object. But whatever is there in this Brahman is nothing but the manifestation of this Brahman. You see a cloth here. This cloth is nothing but the manifestation of the threads inside, the fiber inside. I may not see the silk thread here, but I see the cloth woven in the threads. Similarly, the whole universe is Otam. Jagat Sarvam Otam Protam Brahmani Otam. Atmani Otam. So whatever I see is Brahman. Whatever I experience outside or as body, mind, sense complex, it is nothing but Brahman. Therefore, he concludes this session. The teacher, who Angiras, concludes this teaching with what? One of the most important verses again of entire Vedanta. Brahmai Vedam Amritam Purastad Brahma Paschat Brahma dakshinataschottarena adhascha urdhvancha prastitam Brahmaivedam vishvamidam varishtam. So where is this Brahman? Where is it not? Brahmaiva idam amritam purastat. This amritam Brahma, this immortal Brahma, Brahman, whatever is in front of me, purastad is Brahman. Brahma paschat, Brahman is that which is behind me. Brahma dakshinataschotarena. Dakshinataha, on my right is Brahman, on my left is Brahman. Adhascha urdhvancha prasritam. That Brahman which is below, that Brahman which is urdhvam, above, prasritam means what? It is spread everywhere in all the dishas. That's why Purusha Sukta says, I am 10 inches above everything. That means I have pervaded everything and I am beyond that also. I am there everywhere. So Brahmaiva idam amritam purastat. Brahma paschat. Brahma dakshinataha, on my right. Brahma uttarena. Then adhascha urdhvam cha prasritam. Where is it not? It is everywhere. There is no place where there is no Brahman. Because that is anoraniyam mahato mahiyan. That is the very fabric of the universe. That is the very fabric in which the entire universe is woven. So how can we say which part of Jagat is Brahman? The entire Jagat is Brahman. Whatever you see is Brahman. Whatever you find anywhere is Brahman. So everywhere, Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat. But what we are seeing is the manifestation of this Brahman, because Brahman, being of the nature of existence and consciousness, may not be available to us in the form of an object to say this is Brahman. It's not possible. But then what is Brahman? That which is everywhere, that in which the whole universe, including my body, mind, sense complex, is woven, that because of which everything is existing, that because of which everything is known, without which nothing is there, that which is the only thing that is there, that is nothing but this Brahman, Brahmaivad idam amritam, immortal, all the time it has been there, it will be there, purastat, paschat, dakshinataha, uttarena, adhascha, urdhvam cha prastutam, brahmaiva idam vishvam. This entire Vishwam, everything, the Sthula Prapancha, Sthula Sukshma Prapancha, Karana Prapancha, the Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, whatever is there, Brahmaiva idam Vishwam, idam Varishtam, that which is the highest, the Paramarthika Satyam, that which is the highest. And this world is nothing but this Varishtam Brahma. This exalted Brahman, Varishtam means exalted, the highest. This exalted Brahman is nothing but which we see in the form of the world. It is that Brahman in which the entire Jagat, all the 14 lokas, everything above this earth, under this earth, whatever is there, nothing but this Brahman. Brahmaiva idam sarvam vishvamidam, vishvam idam brahmayeva. And what is that? Varishtam, the highest reality, the highest, the most exalted. Varishtam, the highest reality, nothing beyond that. There is nothing beyond that. And that is the one because of which this whole thing is sustained. Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat, Sarvam Ishwaramayam Jagat. So we have completed the most important chapter, the most beautiful chapter, and the chapter where most of the Mahavakyas are coming. The chapter whose mantras are mentioned and taken for explanation in many of the bhashas of Acharya. And the bhasha of Acharya written on this chapter is a wonderful thing to read. So beautifully he has given the bhasha explanation of this. But if we know this much, that I am nothing but this Brahman which is everywhere. I, this Atma, is nothing but that Brahman which is the light of consciousness, that which is nothing but this entire world. In me, in this Brahman, Sakalam Jatam, Sakalam Pratishtitam, Sakalam Layam Yanti, that which in which the whole world is woven. I am that Brahman, that consciousness. This is the Samyak Darshanam that one is supposed to have with the knowledge of this Atma. So, with this, we have completed almost 75%. We have only two sections more. We have the last Mundaka, the third Mundaka, and two more sessions. You may say, already we have done whatever is needed, we have already finished it. Why again one more section? It is the very compassion of the Shruti because of the very subtle and difficult nature of this knowledge. The Shruti brings another few mantras to make it simple for us to understand and brings about in the next chapter what is this Jivatma and what is this Paramatma. Since we have not understood, if we have not understood it in the archery example, to make it simple, Pranavo Dhanuho, Sharohi Atma, if we have not understood it, then the Upanishad comes with a more easy example for us to understand the Jivatma, Paramatma, and its cycle. With this, we'll conclude today. Om Nandantu Sadhaka Sarve Vinashyantu Vidushakaha Avastha Shambhavi Mestu Prasannostu Guru Sada Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhamapnuyat Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat